Hello. So we are juggling. Hello, everybody. We've got Kirsten Hopper and Bex Thompson, and we're just juggling. We've got two phones happening, and I don't know if anyone else has had this issue with Facebook recently, but their lives have suddenly said you can't go landscape. You have to go portrait. Oh, I'm back. And then we've had a few issues. So how are we going?
Technology is giving us curry.
Kirsten's arm's going to get tired. She's now holding her phone out.
I may, because I don't even know if I can adjust that one too.
No.
So.
All right. We got this, people.
We got this.
Hey, Emma, let us know if you are watching. We're here. Hey, Susie.
We've
got some lovely peeps, and we're going to be sort of looking a little bit backwards and forwards. Hey, Melinda. Hey, Tracy. Hello, peeps. We're just going to hang here, make sure we've got a good, stable connection, and we've got another phone going over here too. Hey, Tracy. Hello,
Hello.
darling.
Hey, Trisha.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Hi. So, hey, Cedric, do you know where the selfie stick is? That might actually help me out so I can just take my phone a bit further, longer than my poor arm.
Between the two of you.
And then I can put it at the same angle as Beck's phone as well. So,
Hey, Melinda. Good to see you.
Cedric's being our backup technological guy.
Tech.
Help!
So while we're getting the rest of our tech sorted, I'm going to have Kirsten's going to introduce herself first, because she instigated this little discussion by giving me a call the other week, didn't you, Kirsten?
I sure did. I was listening to a podcast, and I was listening to Simon Borg-Olivier talking about yoga and how when we're doing our yoga, it's actually much more beneficial for us if we tense less and breathe less. And one of the things that he brought up in this podcast was a research study, which very interestingly said they took a group of women and they took their sexual histories. And then they took a group of trained sexologists. Yes, sexologist is a thing. And they had them watch the women walking. They didn't know who these women were. They knew nothing about their history. And these sexologists were able to pick with quite a high degree of accuracy, 81.25% to be precise, whether or not these women had vaginally orgasmed in their history. And as I was listening to this podcast and I heard this described, and I think my head snapped up and I went, what did I just hear? And I must look this up. And so that's exactly what I did. I Googled and I went looking for this research article, and I found it. Wasn't hard to find at all. And I was intrigued. So let me give you the quick summary of what they actually said. They said the discerning observer may infer women's experience of vaginal orgasm from a gait that comprises fluidity, energy, sensuality, freedom, and absence of both flaccid and locked muscles, right? So to put that in layman's terms, I mean, we all know about body language, right? And we all know that, you know, the way that your posture, the way that you hold your posture is going to give the world certain messages, and it is actually also giving feedback to yourself as well. There's a feedback loop just in the way that you carry yourself and your body and your being. And so the connection of, wow, even down to, you know, what kind of sexual pleasure you have had in your history can actually be evident in your body and the way that you move. Now, Cedric kindly came and set up the tripod. I'm going to reconnect my phone so that my arm doesn't die. And unfortunately, my phone is in portrait.
Just get us right then. So that was the premise of the call while she's setting that up, was that I got this call saying, oh my gosh, Bex, I've read this, oh, sorry, we're back again. We've had a funny little connection issues on here. We are still live. Yes, we're live. Hey, Jen,
Kelly.
we're live, sister. That's why it keeps going in and out a little bit. Yeah, so Kirsten rang me and said, oh my gosh, I've got this really interesting article about tension and tone in the body and, you know, the potential of vaginal orgasms. Do you want to have a chat about it? And I was like, sounds like my cup of tea.
Oh, actually, can I just jump in there? Beck's exact words were, oh my goddess, yes.
Oh my goddess, yes.
Yes.
Nice.
Ready to jump straight in.
So we should probably introduce ourselves a little bit more before we go any further for those of us on the different screens. So Kirsten, do you want to give us a lowdown on your awesomeness?
So hi, my name is Kirsten Herbeau, and myself and my husband Cedric run Utopia Wellness locally here in Caboolture. And so we run yoga classes and we run mini retreats and we do workshops from time to time. And my personal history is I grew up doing a lot of dance and then went from dance into fitness, and from fitness have gone more and more towards more yoga as well. And it's been a very interesting evolvement and journey physically along the way. And, you know, the more mature that I get.
Some mature ladies out there. We've got some mature ladies.
Give us a wave.
Mature watching.
Give us some likes and some love.
We're now in the mature category, ladies. If you're over 40, is it? Over 45?
If you can hear what we're saying. And we just wanted to share how we start to get to the realization that our bodies like it so much more when we slow down. When we go slow in many ways.
And I don't think it's just us, is it? So we're going to share a little bit about our take on this, you know, from our experience, and, you know, some ways that we can start to tap into this different level of pleasure, in different ways in our body.
Your turn.
So, yeah. And I've known Kirsten probably about, I don't know, 10 years?
At least
10 years through the yoga kind of journey, hey, and our parallel lives that we kind of have going on. So those that know me and those that don't, hello, Kirsten's crew and my peeps. So Bex Thompson from Integrated Health and Personal Development on Bribie Island, and my journey really has been through a physical journey through being a physiotherapist and really just burning out in that mode of being outside of myself, and living outside of here with lots of expectations, fast-paced life, seeking lots of adventure. We're having a little bit of an issue on my connection. No. Let's move that one a little bit forward. Oh. Sorry, lovelies, on this side we've just got a bit of a dodgy connection on
back.
my
Hey, Nell.
phone.
Hey, Paula.
Want to go. Hey, lovelies. So just sharing a little bit so you don't know about me anyway. And I really burnt out as a physio. So my journey has really been around embodiment and being able to come back. Here we are, we're back. Sorry, lovelies, if we keep dropping out over here. We've got one device that's dropping out and one device that's staying. So we're back. So I was just sharing that my journey from burning out really as a physio and very much a perfectionist and living outside of myself and seeking pleasure out here has been around embodiment and finding a strengthening of my internal environment around peace and pleasure and wisdom and all of this within me, and helping other women find that. And it's taken me on a journey, you know, again, as a yoga teacher and yoga therapist, and through a lot of different kind of womb wisdom and feminine presence work to understand the power that we have, particularly as women, in our very sacred, sacral space. And so when Kirsten sort of jumped in with this sort of link between, you know, orgasms and the level of tension in our body, it resonated with me, not just in the bedroom, but in the journeys that I've been seeing with the women that I work with over the years around their levels of just joy, around their levels of desire. We've gone again on one screen. Their levels of desire, their passion, you know, just their juice and their mojo and their lust for life.
Yeah.
And everything just sort of drying up, yeah, in lots of different areas. And so we thought, what a great topic for discussion. And we're back here. I'm so sorry, you know, those watching on the Bex Thompson page, we seem to be dropping out a lot on the connection. I think we're just on different networks, although we're all on the Wi-Fi. So sorry, bear with us. We seem to be dropping out, but we're coming back in. So I hope it's not too annoying for those watching. So we're going to share a little bit, perhaps, you know, Kirsten, from your perspective first. What's your take on it, and what's your experience, or perhaps what you've experienced with clients, and what you would like to see women do to experience more relaxation and more pleasure in their bodies?
Yeah, since I've gone deeper again into some more yoga teacher training, and it's interesting because, you know, when I did my first teacher training, and we were, you know, instructed, you know what, if it's real yoga, it's actually, you know, the sweating and the efforting is not part of the true yoga. You know, the physical aspect of yoga is to move the energy and information around your body. And so, of course, that encompasses blood flow, and it encompasses the energetic side of things. But when it comes to the information that you are moving in your body when you're doing a yoga practice or any exercise, actually, if there's a lot of efforting and if there's a lot of stress, then the types of chemicals that you're producing and sending around your body are going to be more the stressful kind. And so the more you can do while actually relaxing, the more then that information and energy that's being moved throughout your system is going to be loving and kind information. And so this is a big emphasis if you ever do come to my classes, and I'll be saying, okay, now actually just relax the abdomen. Relax the abdomen, and in that moment when you breathe into your abdomen, it starts to calm the whole system. Try it out now as you're listening to us, simply relaxing your abdomen on your in-breath. Don't worry about the out-breath too much, but just relax the abdomen and notice what you feel internally, yeah? And so as you're tapping into that space and getting used to, okay, this is what happens when I actually relax my abdomen. And even girls, let's take this deeper down. If you also relax in your pelvic floor, and your nervous system straight away is getting the message, no lions, no tigers. We can relax and feel that change within yourself. So you can be doing your yoga practice, your exercise, and even, you know, when we're doing, this is one of the reasons I love dance still so much. It's fun. So the information that, even though I might be sweating and my heart rate may also come up while I'm doing that, but because I love it so much, my body is still receiving the message that this is fun, and that we're okay, and you know, this all plays into what kinds of information we're giving to ourselves. And so what do you also tell yourself internally? What sort of thoughts? Yeah, thanks for the hearts. If you're hearing what I'm saying, please press that heart button, or let us know. Do converse with us, and you know, we will want to hear what you guys are saying. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yoga equals union. Well,
I've just got an interesting comment here from Phil around, you know, sort of around what you were saying around, are you feeling like you're having to hold yourself up? Are you holding yourself in space? Do you feel like you're having to hold yourself in life? And Phil's just written, which I love, I'd argue we don't hold up or carry ourselves. Ourselves carry us. You know, our sense of self. Adaptation and resilience depend on top efficiency and skeletal organisation. But look to the likes of Indian and African women water carriers. Their lives literally depend on how easily they move. And, you know, I love that, because that even in physio, it's move well, stay well is their kind of like caption, even though I don't know if we fully sort of encapsulate that in working with bodies in the physio world. And we're not so aware of the presence of self. But yeah, when you're so much more present and moving through your life with more grace and more sense that you have support, and you're not the one fighting it, you're not in this kind of place of resistance to what's going on. Because when we're in a place to resistance to what's going on, whether it's emotionally or whether it's physically, then there's this holding tension, you know, and there's this resting level of tension in our whole body. And when there's a resting level of tension physically, and there's a resting level of tension emotionally, dropping out, resting level of tension emotionally, if we just dropped out there, then our capacity to actually feel more embodied states of joy really reduces. Yeah, so I don't know about you, but do you find, just let us know, do you find yourself going outside of yourself to experience joy, to experience pleasure, rather than taking the time to actually relax and feel that within yourself, even if it is sometimes, you know, an exercise class or a yoga class or chocolate or a movie or alcohol or sex, right, as ways of releasing tension, rather than bringing presence to whatever you're doing to release the tension and just enjoying the experience of whatever it is you're doing. Yeah. So you can still do yoga, you can still have sex, you can still eat chocolate and go to a movie, but it's the presence.
All at once?
All at once. But it's the presence and the internal relaxation that you're bringing to the experience that creates an even more enhanced pleasure and enjoyment of that experience, rather than you're just trying to force an experience into you that is pleasurable. Yeah, let me know if that makes sense and you get that so many of the times we're trying to medicate ourselves, to have a more enjoyable or pleasurable experience, rather than realizing that experience is within us, and actually we can have even greater places of pleasure or experiences of pleasure.
Yeah, we've got some doing all that with more presence and joy. Yippee.
Yay.
Yes.
And we're dropping out again over here.
Sorry to the peeps on Beck's page are having a little bit of
They're having a tough time.
They're having a tough time. It's a rough ride.
It is a rough ride. We keep dropping out and dropping out. So some of the things that you might, and we're back again. I'm so sorry if you're staying with us. I'm so proud of you. Big love to you if you're staying with this poor connection. Yeah. And I know it's challenging, and we never know what's going to happen in these live situations until we do it.
But that's part of the fun.
That is totally part of the fun. And we're relaxed. We're on a comfy sofa. Hopefully you're on a comfy sofa. I've got my blankie, so we're all cozy. So what are some of the things that you might experience? Let's talk about that. If you are holding low levels of tension in your body.
Numbness.
And we're talking numbness from a sexual level, so internally, but also an emotional numbness. Yeah. Mm-hmm. How many of you out there feel a bit numb in life? I know it's one of the common things that clients say to me is that, they just can't get excited about anything. They've lost their passion, they've lost their mojo. And, that transfers over in, and we're not going again, and we're back. That transfers over into intimacy. And intimacy is amazing, incredibly important, but we spend more of our time not in the bedroom than we do in the bedroom, probably. Well, connecting on a sexually intimate level. So it's just as important that we experience and allow ourselves to feel pleasure throughout our whole day, as well as intimate relationships. So what else might we feel? Numbness,
anxiety.
Who else feels anxiety? And you may feel anxiety around intimacy, because there's a sense of vulnerability, of having to let some of that resting tension go and actually be seen. Anxiety in our day-to-day, just mentally. Holding physical anxiety in our body. Tension in the neck and shoulders, headaches. Low back pain.
Which we often like Bess was saying before, how often we don't even realize that we've got that resting level of tension because we've gotten so used to that particular level. And an example of that is when we have people who all the things, lolly, Trisha's feeling all the things,
all of that.
We have people come along to, especially with restorative yoga. We give a mini retreat where with restorative yoga we get all this time in stillness and with lots of guided meditation and beautiful music, and we spend a good few hours just unwinding. Yeah, and by the time we get to the end, people are often, when they first come and try it out, they're often surprised. They didn't even realize how wound up they were in their systems.
Yeah.
And I know for myself, the very first time I, did a restorative yoga session, I was gobsmacked at how different I felt afterwards.
Yeah.
It was just a whole new depth of relaxation in my being. And so, when we get on our hamster wheel, and we're in the busy of the day-to-day, you're a mum or whatever it is that just keeps you busy, and we can often ignore what's happening for us and the signals that we're getting back, because our body is so good at giving us the signals. But if we're up here all the time, we can't hear it, right? We need to be able to come down and in. Yeah. Groundhog Day. Nell,
Who else lives this thing's going again. Oh, we're back again. Who else feels like they sometimes live on a hamster wheel or Groundhog Day? It's another kind of numbing, isn't it? And I love what you were just saying there, Kirsten, about we often don't realize how sort of wafer thin that knife edge is between, feeling and not feeling, between anxiety and, joyful and calm, because you're so used to how you feel, that you don't realize
you're habituated
these high states of anxiety. And one of the things that we were talking about with the resting levels of tension just before was, and I know a lot of women will relate to this, particularly if you've had children, is the pelvic floor. It can feel really weak, and I know I've had this issue myself, but you're actually, many women are holding a resting level of tension in their pelvic floor, but you don't know you're doing that because it just feels weak. Because imagine if you've got muscles, imagine this is your pelvic floor for a moment, and these are the muscles overlapping, and we've got the hole here, overlapping muscles contracting, and then relaxing muscles releasing. All right, so you may have a weak pelvic floor, but your pelvic floor may look something more like this, where it's stuck in a halfway point and it's just holding tension, and it can't contract and it can't relax. So you may have been sort of fighting away with, your pelvic floor exercises, trying to contract, and all you're doing is making this stuck position more and more and more rigid.
Yeah.
And it was a huge realization for me a few years ago that what I needed to actually do, what I needed to actually do was to fully relax that.
Yeah.
And then I could get a contraction, a slow contraction. So this is obviously great for our pelvic floor health, but it's also great for sensuality, because if you are locked in a midway position in your muscles, you're not feeling a whole heap there. You've got a lot of numbness. And until we've learned to completely relax and to be able to have that full range of contraction and relaxation, then our full range of sensitivity comes back.
Yep.
Yeah.
We know.
Yeah. And the thing is, in traditional intercourse, if we're getting into the nitty gritty now that we're a little way in, if we add a lot of friction into that, we just risk more tension.
And more numbness.
Exactly. We may get a release, and we may get a moment of pleasure, but it's more like that kind of chocolate pleasure or a drink of wine pleasure. It's a kind of more of an external pleasure, even though it's in our body. It's a kind of forced pleasure than a slower, deeper, more embodied state of unwinding. Yeah, it's a journey. Whereas your average sort of sexual intercourse is more about the destination. All right, so we're talking just slowing everything down, and I hope that sort of makes some sense to you. Just let us know, give us some love hearts whether this makes sense around this contracting and releasing of your pelvic floor, because I think it's a crucial thing for so many women, because we're always taught to like pull it in, tighten it up. But the sensory awareness and the tone actually comes from being able to fully release.
Yeah.
And then slowly being able to like control that contraction and to have more feeling. Yeah. In that. One on, one off again.
I get that.
Thanks for the love hearts over here.
Yes, thank you. It's so true. I think sometimes people might be surprised if they come to one of my Pilates classes, and I'm actually encouraging people to relax themselves in this whole area, and they're wondering, well, hang on a minute, I've got this belly, I want to pull it in, I want to tighten it up. And really, if we are getting around with a constant state of tension in the belly, you know how, especially if you did have a dance background, but even if you didn't have a dance background, how often did you get told, stand up straight, pull your belly in? Yeah. And so it has an effect both ways. We can actually come into relaxing the body from the physical level, and that will help our emotional level drop and unwind. And we can also then work on unwinding emotionally, and then that will also have the effect of helping the body. So the two affect each other. And in this way, relaxing into the belly and continuing that down through the abdomen and even into the pelvic floor, just to check in, like, am I holding that constantly? When we were talking about a mutual friend of ours, Janet McGeever, and she does some great women's workshops, and I think it was,
hey Janet, if you're watching,
it would be great if she's around. And I was at her women's workshop, and it was one of the first times that I had this concept of actually relax your pelvic floor. After having had the message, tighten it up, tighten it up, tighten it up, and realizing, well, actually that was cutting off sensitivity. Yeah. So when we slow down and when we relax, more sensitivity becomes available to us, more pleasure becomes available to us. And so faster, harder, not so much. Yeah. Slow down, come back down and in, and you'll be amazed what opens up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the other thing is, I was just trying to think of something else with that. Something popped into my mind to say around that when you were saying it, but it'll come to me in a moment.
Down and in.
Down and in. Down and in. Womb space. Yoni. Don't know. I know it was around the movement. That's right. Of the relaxation internally, but also the relaxation of movement through the pelvis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're sitting down at the moment. We actually can't really sort of stand up and show you, but it's a movement that you are probably familiar with. And I was teaching it for years as a physio, and we're back. And we're talking about movement in the pelvis, which was just really a tuck and tilt, of lying down on your back, knees bent, feet to the floor, and tucking and tilting your pelvis. And yet so many people still really, really struggle with this movement. And even if they're doing the movement, it's a very mechanical movement again. There's quite a lot of tension in that movement. Yeah. And this is around, again, softening movement through the pelvis. If you're getting sort of the message here, this is all about relaxing in the body to feel more. Yeah. And this is an internal relaxation in the pelvic floor, but it's also a relaxing of this ability to have a fluid, sort of rhythmic or rocking movement through the pelvis. It's essential for being able to kind of like, take load and hold all the energy in this space. Like, it's an incredible space, womb space, and this whole sacral area. And we need to be able to move that to generate and hold life force. So from an energetic perspective, this is the center of our life force, the center of our creativity. It's a deeper feeling center. And if we're holding that whole area rigid, not just internally but externally, then our emotions become more rigid. We can't see clearly in, you know, different layers of things. We can have, you know, back problems, hip problems, energy problems, creativity, you know, dry ups. So it's just such a whole vast area that we're talking about. It's not just our sensitivity and sensuality in the bedroom. It's like, how does this affect us? This is life force. This is creativity. Yeah. It's everything. So
and even I was chatting with some friends about this, and in relation to the walking, and in the time since reading about it, going for a walk and then tapping in, well, actually, you know, how am I holding myself when I'm walking? Is it possible that I'm holding unconscious tension just walking? Could I relax those tensions just while I'm walking? And what movement becomes available to me that feels good? So that you're, you know, so definitely the opposite end of the spectrum to a power walk.
Absolutely. If I could do it for you now, I'd do some walks for you, because in feminine presence work, we do a lot around like how we walk and how we embody the feminine. And the feminine energy is centered very much in the hips. And what you notice when women walk a lot is a lot of rigidity in the hips and a lot of movement from the shoulders, or very slumped in the shoulders, you know, and that real kind of like hiding energy. Because I don't know, it's like, what do you reckon? Are we scared of coming across too sensual? Do you think in the way that we walk?
Yeah.
And yet, we were just saying, and it's just dropped out on my one, but I think perhaps we're scared as women as coming across as too sensual in the way that we walk, and that our shoulders can become down, or we can lead very much with the chest because we want to, you know, appear, you know, if we're in business or out in the world, we want to appear strong, we want to appear, you know, level with the guys, or we're busy and we just want to get through our day, right? And yet our feminine energy and our sensuality is in our hips. And so I've been playing with this quite a lot, like you were saying, Kirsten's been playing with it after reading the article, of just really softening. So this is a great way to play with it yourself, of just really give your hips a bit of a wiggle. You can't wiggle your hips enough that other people are going to think, oh my gosh, she's totally wiggling her hips, because you probably won't let yourself. Just see if you can sway your hips more than you normally would, and notice how it feels. It's way more comfortable on your knees and your hips to actually do that than hold your pelvis and your lower back much more rigid when you're walking. So I was playing with this. So I do big walks on the beach with my dog, and notice when I'm getting into it, I'm just doing a walk phase, and notice that I get sometimes some discomfort in one of my knees or my hips.
Okay.
Right? And then just softening and actually really focusing more and reminding myself, oh, that's right, you know, relax and sway my hips, allow more fluid snake-like movement through the hips and up through the spine, no knee pain. So if you're getting foot on knee or hip pain, again, just feel into how much fluidity am I actually allowing in the rest of my body, and how rigid and how busy am I being? Yeah, how much tension am I holding? Yeah.
I always start my Pilates with a walking awareness warm up, and except for when the guys show up in class, which they do from time to time, I like to sometimes get people to imagine they have a tail and they're sweeping the floor side to side with that tail, right? And it's fun and it's yummy and it lightens up, because let's face it, lightening up is also a great way of dropping tensions from the body, when you can have a laugh and have a bit of a giggle with each other. But the next time that you get the chance to perhaps sweep the floor behind you with your long tail and allow yourself to play.
That's an awesome one, actually. I've done that as well. Imagine that you've got a really heavy tail, and you're just kind of swaying it, or it's dragging on the floor behind you, and you let it sway like you're sweeping the floor. And that'd be cool. I wish we could do it now, but we don't have enough room to walk. And we're having enough problems with our technology as it is, without even risking moving from this spot. So we're just like, we're staying on the red couch.
Yes.
Has anyone got any questions around some of the things that we've talked about? So we've kind of really discussed how more pleasure is around really reducing the amount of holding tension, because if we're holding tension, we're numbing out to either pleasure states and also pain states, because also if we self-medicate pain, we're actually limiting the amount of pleasure that we have. So that's sort of one area. Don't numb out. Notice when you're numbing out. Notice when you're holding levels of tension in your pelvic floor and in your pelvis. There's some of the sort of real key areas, and obviously mentally and emotionally. But we'd love to know, and I know it can be a bit of a sensitive area, but we'd love to know if anyone has any questions around their joy levels, or what they can do, or anything specific that you have going on.
Do you have any favorite practices or things that work for you to bring yourself more into your happy body?
Either in an everyday or in the bedroom, if you want to share that on Facebook, which you may not want to, but we'd love to hear. Sharing is caring, right?
Sharing is caring.
And then we're going to share some other little practices that you can do, as well as these awarenesses that we've been talking about. But yeah, we'd love to have if there's any questions, or if you're watching this later, if you can actually get through the stop starts of this live later. Sometimes they patch it up afterwards and it's better after the event. If there's any questions, we'll both jump on and just check, because we've got these 2 different pages that we're on. If there's any questions, we'll promise to come on and check them all out for you.
We will check the comments
later.
if you feel that you'd like to ask something.
Or if you want to private message either of us.
Yes.
Kirsten Erbo or myself, Bex Thompson. If you do have any questions of a more personal nature, or you want to chat to either of us around anything in particular. Because we do understand that you might not always want to share these things on social media.
What else?
What else? Well, there's sensuality in the bedroom, which we're talking about really on Go Slow, and the whole kind of, there's a whole, just thinking about the slow food thing. We just had a very, very lovely dinner together, and you did is it a slow cooked meal? Yeah, she did a slow cooked meal. And so, the slow food and slow cooking, and, now we're talking about really living slow and slow sex, right? It's all the same. It's all about how can we really honor and have more joy, more appreciation, more pleasure, more embodiment in every moment, no matter what we're doing, and that's really what we're talking about here. It's about, let's take the friction and the tension and the rush and the busyness out of everything, and honor each moment.
Savor each moment.
Savor each moment. That's right.
Cedric was reminding us. What said. And Cedric has actually just had his 2 cents. Thanks, Ced, for contributing. He's saying, as a man, he too benefits from more fluidity in his body, with less stress and slowing things down. What else did you say there? Let me see more. Like eating a nice cake.
I brought round a banana cake. And it is. There's so many ways that you can practice pleasure. Once you start practicing the art of embodied pleasure and slowing things down, you'd be surprised how much, less pain there is in the body, how much more life force you're tapping into, how much more appreciation there is. It's this feedback loop. How much more people appreciate you, physical and relationship connections. It all comes from just slowing down and really enjoying something. So you can do it in enjoying the banana cake that's next door. And instead of scoffing it down and chatting, probably like we did a bit just before, but just really slowing down.
Oh no, I savoured it.
You savoured it.
It was good.
Being more mindful of really every mouthful. Those moments when you eat something and you get your mouth waters, and you just get that moment where your whole mouth's just going off on one major kind of mouth orgasm. It's like that, of just really slowing down and going whoa, rather than trying to squash things.
Or quick, I didn't eat that.
Yeah. Or guilt.
Guilt. Oh. Yes.
What other ways do you squash your desires? Tell yourself that it's wrong, or I shouldn't be feeling that way. And I think around sensuality and sexuality, that's a huge one as well, as that I shouldn't be feeling these feelings.
Your big clue, if it comes with a should attached, it's probably a poo pile.
That's probably a poo pile.
Probably a pile of poo. Anything that comes with a should attached is likely to be, you know, some kind of pile of poo that is not serving you in your thought processes, right? So, you know, if you're getting out the shoulds, if you're telling yourself, I should this and I should that, it's judgment, right? And the more we can actually get out of judgment, and that starts with, you know, it really does start with self-judgment. The more you can practice loving kindness to yourself, the easier it is then to do the same outwardly. Do it inside, it becomes so much more open and easy outside. We drop the judgments and miracles can happen.
Yeah.
Oh, Cedric has a question for us. What orgasmic life can we have when we're more in the presence of self? Shall we maybe...
Kind of more of a statement.
Yeah, that's...
Hey,
we
Peter.
have... Hey, Peter.
Hey, Peter.
I found that fantasies can take away. Yeah, so sometimes fantasies, which keep us up here, are actually taking away from the pleasure of the moment.
Being mindful that heightens the pleasure makes them so much better. Does that make sense? Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else ever had that kind of experience where if you're up here and you're fantasizing, so that it's actually... It's all cerebral then, isn't it? And it can take us away from the possibilities of what we could open up in the body.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, staying present, like you were saying, being mindful heightens the pleasure. But also we can want to go rushing to the end event, you know, rushing to actually achieve that orgasm or achieve something, you know, in life. Rather than actually just staying with the sensation and letting that sensation build and build and build and build, you know. We have this... tendency as humans to try and squash and kind of finish whatever that sensation is, whether it's pleasurable or painful, rather than allow it. And when we relax, allow that sensation to actually expand and heighten and go even deeper.
Yes. Expansion, so key.
Yeah.
And expansion doesn't happen if we're stressed out, because being stressed causes contraction and coming in and locking down. So relaxation benefits on all levels, emotionally as well as physically.
Yeah. And there's some beautiful ways, and you know, I did an amazing week with Janet McGeever. And if any of you have a partner who would be up for this, Janet McGeever, a little shout out to you, my darling. The Making Love Retreat, amazing. 6 days of a retreat to take your partner on and really work through some of this, well, not work, play through some of this slow sex work and other things that accompany that, and to help you really go slow are things like eye gazing, just really, really softening into connection with a soft gaze with your eyes, really beautiful, soft feather-light touch, as well as this sort of lack of friction, so just a lot of stillness. You know, there can still be penetration, but it's just a lot of stillness and holding and being able to sort of go deeper and more into that place of sensitivity, and also breathing together. So eye gazing, light touch, breathing together, and more stillness, and just being together in your presence. Because as a man and a woman, we have this magnetic presence, you know, already there's energy going on. It's just that we've become so, again, numbed out to it and have this need for sort of friction to create excitement. And when we can relax into presence with each other, there's a natural energetic flow that is happening there. We just need to tap into it. We just need to start listening and feeling, right?
Yeah.
And all the things that we've just talked about are all the ways that we're stopping ourselves from feeling. Yeah. And the more we experience more pleasure in our day to day, we open ourselves to this possibility of expansion and heightened embodied pleasure at the times whenever we want it, not just in the bedroom.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good. It is good.
It is good.
Any other questions from anyone? We've got a couple of people just jumped on. I know my page has just been going on and off. I blame Vodafone. I've just changed over to Qigong on a brand new phone. Great phone, but I am having a few problems with the
the
network. Does anyone else have problems with Vodafone? I was with Telstra, Optus before, I think.
Well, we've got Optus.
Optus. Yeah. Going again. Anyone else? If you're on Bribey or in the surrounding area, let me know. Do you have problems with Vodafone? I'm in Caboolture at the moment, and it keeps dropping out. And I'm on the Wi-Fi.
And we're connected through Wi-Fi.
We're on the same Wi-Fi, so it's very strange. But let me know. There's a little aside there. So I've got one other thing that everyone can have a little go at now. Is that all right?
All right, sounds good.
Sounds good. So we're just saying, how can you bring in, pleasure in any moment? So let's try it right now. So just before Kirsten got us, just to literally drop down and feel your belly relax, feel your pelvic floor relax. You can take a moment just to do that and just feel, is there anywhere that you are holding tension in your body right now? So full permission to close your eyes and just feel into your body. Where are you holding, or are you holding tension anywhere in your body right now? And then just check in with your pelvic floor and your yonis, the area that we call it in Sanskrit, in yoga, your yoni. And just see if you can relax in that area. And you may feel that you get a little bit of relaxation, and then when you focus again, there's another layer of relaxation.
Yeah, you'll find that your tension melts away in stages. So that's why we need time. Give yourself that time to come into those relaxed abdomen breaths. Moving in and down into the body.
And it's like a wave for me. Like as I focus my attention then down in my perineum, my yoni, it's like a wave of relaxation. It's not like one point and then you relax. It's kind of like a blossoming. I mean, it's like, talk about like a lotus flower opening, yeah? So continue just to sort of hold your awareness in that area. And then, and this might seem a little silly, but just imagine that you're actually breathing in and out of your yoni, or in and out of your vagina. And you can just soften the lips of your mouth and breathe in and out through your mouth as well. And that sort of helps to have a bit of a mirror effect.
If you've ever had the experience of carrying tension in your jaw, there's a relationship between the jaw and the hips also. So just be aware too if you have that tendency to carry tension here.
Yeah.
It's a big one for me.
Yeah. And just imagine it's just a really gentle whispering breath. In and out through your mouth and in and out through your yoni. Feels good? Yay! Who likes that?
And also notice, Reese, you've come in late on this conversation. You come right in on the...
Hey, Reese.
on this exciting end of things.
Breathing in through your yoni, is that why you laughed?
Yeah.
Oh, funny. But also, it's one of those things that takes a little bit, if you're not used to it, to just really sort of drop in and feel. But these are beautiful things that you can do for your own pleasure, just to tap in and to increase your own sensitivity, and just to spend some time just tapping into your own pleasure. Like, why not? Yeah, there's this sort of sense of, again, guilt around experiencing your own pleasure or exploring your own body. There's nothing wrong or dirty or weird about it. It's just tapping into your own energy, that you're able to create. And our sexual energy is actually an incredibly potent, healing life force. And the energy that we can create when it's contained and not just sort of through friction and chucked out, sort of like fireworks type thing. We can use it and move it through our body, and it's an incredible healing force. It's an absolute gift that we have this energy. Yeah. So another just little quick one is that we can play with any part of our body in a way that brings the most desire and the most pleasure. So even if it's just, say, I've just got my hand here and you just closed your eyes, practice moving that hand in a way that gives you the most enjoyment. Yeah, it's just so simple. Just pick one part of your body.
Yes,
and just close your eyes. And
Beck's just saying it gets easier the more often you do it. Absolutely.
Yay,
it's
Beck.
like anything at all, isn't it? That you know, it's like working a muscle. It's the same even with relaxation.
Yeah,
to get better at being able to relax your body, you need to do it a little and often.
Yeah, absolutely. And tapping into pleasure, training ourselves. It's crazy, isn't it? Training ourselves to experience pleasure in any moment.
Yeah.
And like I would say to clients, it's like, you know, you also need to sort of carve out a time to practice something before you can really incorporate it into just your day-to-day. Otherwise, the whole day goes past and you're like, oh, I wasn't totally very much aware of pleasure. I wasn't really aware of relaxing in my body. You know, if we don't take time out, say even if it's just 5-10 minutes in your day to practice, say, moving with pleasure, to practice relaxing, to practice, you know, checking in with your yoni and breathing, whatever it is, it helps you then to be able to check in on that throughout your day. Yeah. And then perhaps bring it into the bedroom, you know, bring it in, have that discussion with your partner about going slow, about relaxing, about, you know, eye gazing, gentle light touch. Yeah, making it more of a journey, more of an experience. So that it's not just something that, you know, is a rush and an outcome and an expectation and it's so goal orientated like the rest of our lives. Because it's not really fun, is it, girls?
No, so what else did I want to say?
What else
we were
have we
talking
got?
about. Well, I was going to say, you know, again, we've touched on how this is not new information. You know, the ancient arts of yoga and Qigong and all those things, all those different practices have all said this. So teaching people about that energetic center and relaxing in the belly is a way of coming into that space. So it's simple, but it really does work. The next time that you're coming along to a class, and find out what it is that you actually like doing, because, you know, your thing might not be yoga, it might not be dance, but if you can find something that you really love doing, because I know that you're getting into rock climbing and bouldering, and, you know, anything that gets you outside is also going to be a wonderful way for you to slow down. In the time when we get out in nature and take a walk in the forest, and all of those things obviously are going to help you as well. But the fact that you're moving your body in some way as well as getting out in nature is going to give you a double whammy of slow down and, you know, tap into Mother Earth while you're at it.
Yeah, because it's always the way that we're doing these things as well, isn't it? You know, you can do these things in a way that's rushed or without awareness, or do it with a place that's, again, mindful, that's relaxed, that you're bringing more presence and awareness to whatever it is that you're doing. It can still be something dynamic, like Kirsten said. You know, when I'm rock climbing, it's still very dynamic and it's very present because you can't think about anything else. But I know as well, if I'm super, super tense, I'm actually much weaker in my body than when I'm actually more relaxed. And then there's more life force available. Yeah. You know?
And if there's more fluidity, you've actually got more reach.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Little message, our bodies are geared for pleasure and we need to remember it's good on so many levels. We totally do. We do. Yeah. Not just feed it with toxic pleasures, you know? Quick fixes. Yeah.
So, tell me what you've got coming up, Bex.
What have we got coming up? So we've got a couple of things that we thought we'd love to share for you, that those very awesome souls that have stayed on till the end, particularly on my page here, which has been in and out and in and out and in and out with the network. So yeah, I go deeper into this kind of work, you know, with women that want to step up and really live, you know, with their greatest potential, you know, because as women, there's so many things that tend to hold us back. This fear of being seen and heard. not feeling appreciated, you know, the handbrake's on, with self-judgment, you know, and overwhelm, or doing it all and just go and putting themselves out there and burning out. And so that's really the kind of flavor that I work with a lot of women, and I have a half day coming up on Sunday. So we are almost full, but we have a couple of spaces left. So if anyone would love a spot on that, and they just put on either of these pages, just yes please Bex on the bottom, I will PM you and we'll get you a ticket for free for showing up here at 8:30 tonight, staying with us right at the end. So if you put yes please Bex on, we're going to give you a free ticket to that. It is this Sunday in Brisbane, just in Murray, and it's all around the art of being brilliant without that burnout, without that tension and stress where the energy is going outside of you. So it's how to really tap in. We're going to do some great embodied practices, as well as some sort of mindset and emotional and energetic work to get you, being able to be brilliant at your boundaries, to be able to manage stress, be able to see and heard in the way that you want, so that you can live a life that has a lot more pleasure as well as the impact, without burning out. So that's me. I would love to see you there, and if you would love to join us, then put yes please Bex on the bottom in the comments here, and we'll get you a ticket for Sunday. And Kirsten,
Nell has just made a comment that it's similar to eating a meal for the sake of fuel rather than and nourishment. It's just bland. So true.
Absolutely. Savor every moment. We were talking about a banana cake. You might have missed that before, that we very much enjoyed earlier.
That recipe has gotten the big tick.
Yeah, and we receive so much more, don't we now? You know, when we do it in that way, we know there's been studies showing that we absorb more of the nutrient, from our food when we take time to savor it and slow down. We actually start processing our food, a little aside, the first time we see it. Chemistry starts happening in our bodies to start preparing ourselves to digest. So if we miss that step of appreciation as well, then we're missing part of the digestive process. Yeah, as well as the going slow and appreciating it.
Aren't we amazing? And we really are just amazing. And even, the moment that it touches your mouth already, then the body is prepping for what it is that's coming in. So that's pretty amazing. I love it. Thanks, Mel.
We just have to get out of our own way, don't we? Really, as human beings.
Yes, we can get so caught up.
Yeah.
Good thing, I guess, also with having a family, that's one that, we're being reminded always to come back to what's real for us when we have a family. And when we, when we can probably, get caught up with busyness, and our relationships can get neglected in some ways. But if you want to improve all of that, slow down, and you'd be amazed then what opens up in your relationship with your partner, but also with your kids, and being able to take that time. Thanks Beck. Yes. You got football on Sunday. No. Well, I hope that you have
keep an eye out, Beck.
We'll good time being slow watching the football.
Exactly. Enjoy the football. Make the most of. I know you will. And so, Kirsten, what have you got coming up?
I've got a women's intuitive embodiment mini retreat coming up. So June the 14th. It's a Friday night. And so if you'd like to come along, and we're going to use tried and true physical practices in a very gentle way. So whether you've done yoga ever or lots, you want to come along and give it a go. We're going to use a little bit of yoga and a little bit of dance, and there'll be a little bit of Qigong, and then we'll be doing stuff that isn't called anything at all, right? We'll just be exploring different ways that we can relax into our bodies. And so, as I said, this is a women's only workshop, and I also have another friend who's coming along to facilitate with me, and she's an intuitive healer. So if you want to tap more into your intuitive side, you're going to want to come along. So do get in contact with me if you're interested in checking that out. I have the event page already listed on Utopia Wellness there, so you can read a bit more about it. And I'd love to share that with you on that Friday night. Let's have a girls' night.
Yay, sounds awesome.
Hey Naomi, you're a bit late, my love.
To go back.
To go back.
Finish and go back.
Rewind.
Go to bed and watch it snuggled up.
Yeah.
So, we're done.
I think we are.
Yay.
Thank you so much, everyone, for
Absolutely.
joining in with us. And if you are watching this later, then I hope you've enjoyed it as well.
Absolutely. And like I say, any questions that come up sort of after this, if you want to just private message us or jump on then or rewatch Naomi, yay. And well done to the hardcore ones on my page that managed to keep watching all the way through all those disturbances. We're going to have to try and work that out. Thank you so much. And yeah, I hope you guys got some stuff out of it. I had a magnesium bath.
Whoa. Nice.
All right, my lovely. So yeah, relax, feel, find pleasure in every moment.
Namaste.
Yeah, namaste. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Bye.